because the less energy we use, no matter whether it's carbon heavy energy or carbon light energy, it really comes down to the price of the fuels, and the less we use, the less we spend. Maybe Jasper, you could give that to
I totally agree. Also because it is very unlikely that any of these new fuels will be cheaper than the fuels we have today. So it's worth paying a lot of attention to energy efficiency, I think. Wanted to have one remark on this first question, because it opens up a whole world of terminology. One thing the initial IMO strategy was very clear about is that the targets for emissions are emissions in the shipping sector itself. So if carbon neutral shipping means planting a forest somewhere and continuing to operate as you do, that's not an option that's being discussed in IMO. The fuels have to be either have no carbon content or have a closed loop, short-term carbon loop, so that they are neutral to the climate. But there's no room for offsetting them.
Thank you, Jasper, for clarifying that. And we have one question from Paul Woodall. It's very concrete. Should biofuels really be reserved for aviation? Because that seems to be a plug-in fuel they could use to solve their problems. And maybe anything have a bit on that?
Well, I think reserved is a very strong word, but yes, aviation is relying a lot on the use of biofuels. So they are very keen to pay the premium of these fuels, and in order to ensure the supply of biofuels. This is why, for the shipping industry, there might be not sufficient availability of biofuels.
I'd like to add to that the biofuel sector, it's almost as big and as diverse as shipping itself. There is entirely possible that biofuel, which is a heavy product, will be developed. There is no possibility to heat a heavy product on an airplane, never mind trains or trucks. And so if that product were to come to market, well then why would you restrict it for use for a segment that can't use it? There is a project that we're involved with on lignin ethanol oil. We're in a project together with Maersk and a number of prominent shippers to develop this, to see can we actually bring it to scale. It would be a carbon neutral heavy fuel, which would hopefully be a drop-in solution for today's fleet. So that's why a prescriptive measure like that should be avoided.
Thank you, Roger, and as always, things are more complicated than meets the eye. Are there any questions directly from the floor? We have a roving microphone available, so just raise your hands and think about questions. There's one down there.
Gavin Wright from the International Windship Association. Roger, you mentioned about policy regulation helping to protect first movers and the innovative ship owners out there. Could you expand on that a little bit? I'd like to hear from the rest of the panel. How can we actually do that?
There are a number of different policy approaches which could be taken to help ensure that outcome. One would be to use a grandfathering approach, which would allow vessels there are operators who've equipped vessels with particular systems or technologies to continue to use those, even if later new regulation is developed, which would mean that they are not compliant with those new standards. Ballast water I think was a good case in point with that. It's the signal it sends to the industry is that if you get involved early, it could really sting you. And you know the expression, once bitten, twice shy. The industry is castigated all the time for being slow off the mark. Well, when you consider what happened with ballast water and some of the other cases now, scrubbers also, is it really any wonder? You would be right to consider, well, does it make sense to be a first mover? So I think there are a number of different approaches that could be taken with protecting early movers. And I think it's an important thing to do as well.
Thank you, Raucci, for an elaborate answer to that. And let's pick more of the questions here on the Slido. Christos Lusantos is asking the question: would it be a solution to regulate operating speeds or engine power to reduce greenhouse gas to meet the 2030 targets? And I wonder, Carlo or Jasper could answer that.
Well, just a few words on this. I think definitely it's possible. There will be, if you are regulating operational speed, it depends obviously the level, the limit that you are considering. It will help, and maybe if we have a stringent policy, enough stringent policy, you will be able to actually meet the GHG emission target in 2030. A lot will depend, obviously, from the level of the stringency that we will apply to operational speed, but definitely is a policy measure, is a potential policy measure.
The idea of regulating speed was originally introduced because it could be implemented fast. Speed is observable and probably enforceable, although there are a lot of questions around it. Since then, this idea has been floated of, instead of regulating speed, regulating the engine power, and actually that has a lot of advantages. Of course, engine power is related to speed, but it is closer aligned with what you actually want to regulate, which is efficiency and CO2 emissions. You're not so concerned about speed, but about emissions. And in that sense, I would say that in the policy debate, and I have to be careful here because there are different positions on this, of course, but the idea of regulating speed has been superseded by the idea of regulating engine power.